You know why we're here. It's time for Boost, Booze, and Barbecue. I do dig the new intro music.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I was about to say the same thing. Really digging it. Yeah. I wish we could just keep it rolling. Honestly, just a live feed of us nodding, you know?
I think that'd be pretty entertaining, right?
I think so. We probably get a couple million hits.
Oh, man. Speaking of hits, dude, it's the elephant in the room, the Cybertruck.
Oh, I have so much to say about the Cybertruck. When I first saw it, I thought it was a joke. To be honest, I thought it was one of those things, you know, the flamethrower and all the other stuff those guys do. The whole Elon Musk creativity team just coming up with some kind of joke. And then I thought it was hideous. And it is starting to grow on me. Like, I'm starting to see people mock-ups, you know.
Yep.
Some wheels and tires, and I'm starting to like it.
I think a lot of people are feeling that way. I think there's a lot of people that are like, I hate it, but now I'm starting to dig it because more keeps coming out. You know, the aerodynamics are actually very good, and the plating, the steel that they use for it, you know what? Everything they said is right. Like, you can't really stamp it. The body of it, you know, is as super tough steel that you can't actually stamp or hardly bend at all. So, I mean, it's got to be those angular lines and everything. I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if Elon Musk is looking at what's going on in Hong Kong, and he's saying, you know what? People are going to buy this and they're going to...
Civil War truck.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I can see that. And while we're on this subject, I got to go to bat for Elon a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
The bulletproof glass windows that shattered or broke or whatever. I'm sure you've all seen the videos that made that pie plate sized impression when they threw a 2-inch steel ball at it.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh, how bulletproof is it? Bulletproof glass is bulletproof or bullet resistant. Doesn't mean it doesn't break. It just stops a bullet. Like, I mean, there is a version of bulletproof glass that is like a 4-inch Lexan plastic that the bullet just goes inside of and stops, and there's just a bullet in there in a small hole.
Mm-hmm.
But most bulletproof glass, when you see like these motorcade vehicles that are armored up, are just made to catch some bullets, and they still shatter and do exactly what it did. Like, it did what it's designed to do. It stopped the ball.
Well, and he had a video of before the demo, them throwing the steel ball at it over and over and over, and it didn't do anything to the window. And so it was just a matter of, it hit a point where it was just too much.
Possibly, but it still worked as designed. It made a circular impression, caught the steel ball, it didn't go through. Like, you throw that at any other car window, and the whole thing explodes, and just you have an interior full of small glass pieces.
True, fair. And I apologize to you guys if you're watching the live stream. It keeps going down. I don't know why, and I don't know what to do about that. We're going to try to monitor it from here. Unfortunately, I don't have producer Nick in here.
That's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to feel like we have a real need for an actual producer so we can fully focus on just talking.
I agree.
I have another theory with this Cybertruck.
Mm.
We've all, if you're into any kind of sci-fi or conspiracy stuff.
I hate to interrupt you, but you already kind of prefaced this with me a little bit. I'm going to need some whiskey in order to roll with this. So you keep talking.
I'm going to keep going, but I have to go quick because I have a interview with InfoWars in 10. We've all heard of the hologram theory.
I'm just going to sip on this,
right?
Okay?
We've heard of the hologram theory. I know you've heard of it. Sure, our listeners have heard of it. Just think about all these wrecks where people are like, hey, I don't know, it came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was just driving along. I swear he wasn't there. Then boom, I smashed into the side of him.
Yeah.
It's lag in the hologram, right?
Yeah.
He really wasn't there. Boom, lag. This new Cybertruck, look at the shape of it. There'll be no lag. This thing could run without lag on an N64.
Yeah. But, video game emulators.
Yeah.
They are very taxing. And so there are certain games that even on a computer like mine, it's not going to run well because there's something about trying to emulate it. You can't quite get the programming right, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think to your point, we're simplifying the design down to the point where it's really just, it can take on the form. You know, it's going to be easy on the universal CPU.
Yeah. And Musk has already mentioned stuff about universal hologram. And think about how much better your life's going to be if the hologram's running smoothly around you. No lag, just smooth. There's no accidents. You know, your luck is always good. You're in your Cybertruck just cruising around. Lucky as could be.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good point. And have you seen the specs on this thing, by the way?
The tri-motor version.
Yes.
The $70,000 version.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous.
That doesn't even seem that bad to me, $70,000.
No, that's like a loaded F-150.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be like towing your boat to the lake while racing a vet and beating it.
Mm-hmm.
Stat, like it's retarded.
I kind of wonder, I don't know, the shape of the bed. That's a concern of mine. You're going to lose some utility with the shape of that bed. Although it is a 4-door truck, right?
Yeah.
And so 4-door pickups right now, or classically, unless they're a 3/4 ton or 1 ton, you really don't have the kind of hauling capacity, and you shouldn't expect the kind of hauling capacity.
The downside to that bed is, when is the last time you lowered your tailgate, climbed up in the bed to grab something small? Never. You reach over the side of the bed. You will not ever be doing that with a Cybertruck unless you have orangutan arms and you're like 7 foot tall.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. It's a good point. I do like the automatic ramp.
That's slick.
It's very slick. I think that people who are doing a lot of, you know, riding dirt bike, that kind of thing, ATV, like this might be the perfect vehicle for people that do a lot of dunes riding, ATV stuff, that sort of thing.
I'm just excited to see the first Tesla truck that somebody was like, way overloads that ramp and tries to bring, I don't know, like a concrete saw or something up in the back of there,
Mm-hmm.
overloads it, bends it into a U, and then it doesn't retract because it's kind of like a telescoping ramp.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see a Tesla truck either driving down the road with 8 foot of tailgate sticking in the air, or 8 foot of tailgate just sticking straight out with a big U shape in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That would put a damper on the aerodynamics if you had it straight up.
Yeah.
Although maybe
sure.
it'd just be like a giant gurney flap. We don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to, you know, wind tunnel testing, we'll see.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the money to purchase that time in the tunnel, but I'm going to go out on a limb, say it's going to make it less.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to work on it. Honestly, I think that 70,000 for that thing is really not bad. And I'm tempted. I'm really tempted by it. It's not like I have the money to run out and get it right now, but they're doing the $100 down payments.
Yeah. Which I can afford that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The thing is they're not limiting. Like, there's an unlimited number of those $100 down payments that they can take, right? Because when I first saw that they were doing that, I think one of my first thoughts, is dumb as this is going to sound, was, gosh, maybe I should buy a few of those reservations and then see if they're owner transferable, by the way.
I've heard they are, that you can sell your spot.
Right. But how worth it is it, you know? Because as soon as that thing was debuted, people were just pouring in with those $100 deposits. So now we're pretty far back. I don't know how worth it would be.
At this point, yeah, no. But
there have been a lot of people who have made good money doing that, though.
You know, there's a market for everything. I'm sure if you were right there and get in early.
Who's
and the $100 is, if you decide you don't want it, they'll give you the $100 back.
Right, exactly. It's not like you've lost it forever, which is a very good thing.
Yeah, no, I can see being in the top, you know, couple hundred spots, you can actually make some pretty good money off that ticket.
Well, so going back to your whole theory of like glitch in the matrix,
mm-hmm.
I would agree with that, except for the existence of insurance companies.
Yeah, but Musk he's beyond that.
No, I know, but like, I think the reason why so many people go, oh man, it just jumped out of nowhere, like it just appeared in front of me. Yeah, it appeared in front of you because you were looking down at your Instagram for 30 seconds straight.
Well, yeah, we can't discount many of these wrecks because people are stupid. I did one actually just this weekend where I pulled in, parked my wife's car, walked over, got in my truck, and then promptly backed it into my wife's car. In that order, at that speed. I mean, there was a little bit more insinuating circumstantial going on, but more or less, I just parked a car and then backed another one into it. I'm sure it's going to end up costing me $3,500 or something, but so there's definitely a spot for people to be dumb.
Yes.
As I've proven yesterday.
Ooh, I wonder what the crash tests are going to look like with this thing.
I'm worried. I'm sure the crash tests for it are amazing. I'm a little worried about what it does to the other vehicle.
Right, exactly.
Because there's been multiple vehicles that they've ran through some crash testing, and we're like, yeah, this thing has awesome crash tests, except for everyone else not in the vehicle. You killed them, so you can't have this.
Well, if that was the case, though, we wouldn't have any Volvos on the road.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, is like a Volvo, the bumper still hits at bumper level on another car. You know what I'm saying? Like,
fair.
You getting a head on with a Cybertruck, the wheels are snapping off and 7,000 pounds coming over the hood and just taking off the top of the car. You're going to slide on your bulletproof Kevlar reinforced battery tray a long ways with part of the roof of a car under and in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And the other people are going to be torsoless. Is that a word? Torsoless?
Torsoless? Torsoless?
Torsoless.
Might be torsoless.
I feel like that's a part of like an orca whale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they're in captivity, their torsoless just goes to nothing.
How did we abbreviate the meters, by the way, like speedometer, tachometer? Why isn't it speedometer or tachometer? Dynometer?
People just got tired of saying "oh."
Maybe, but I have to wonder, is it one of those stupid academic things? You know how every once in a while the pronunciation of a word will change just because people feel the need to become smart again.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you can say like, what's one that happened recently? I'm drawing a blank here, but it's speedometer, speedometer is a perfect example. Like, imagine you ran into somebody that was kind of douchey,
mm-hmm.
right? You can picture the type of person, and you're talking to them and you're like, yeah, so I was working on, I don't know why the speedometer stopped working. They were like, oh, it's a speedometer, but I don't expect you to know that.
I know exactly what you're talking
mm-hmm.
about. Yeah. Where you say the word, I love tomatoes. And they're like, it's actually technically tomatoes.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, genius. I'm sure you're very successful with your tomato corrections.
Super fun at parties.
Yeah. I'm sure you're just raking in the money with your tomato corrections here. Yeah. No, I know. I know. I can't even think of that many words, but no, I've had this happen to me on multiple occasions. Multiple.
I don't know what's wrong with people. Why do they feel the need to do that? There's this need in the human condition to get a leg up, get a one up on.
See, I actually have a little thing I use in that exact situation.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody corrects you on a word, and maybe you're saying it completely wrong. Like
mm-hmm.
you are for sure saying the wrong word, and they correct you, and whether it's wrong or they're just being a douche, you just go, I've heard it both ways, for sure. I've heard it both ways.
mm-hmm.
and they're like, no, it's espionage, not espondage. And you're just like, no, I've heard it both ways. You can say it either way. It's a thing. Yeah. Google it. I've heard it both ways.
Tomato, potato, it's all the same. Yeah.
Tomato, fire truck. It's both ways.
Do you remember I had a guy block me on Facebook one time because he was just being dumb and I was trying to rationalize with him, and you messaged me and you said there's no rationalizing with him. And so I finally responded,
finish him.
You brag to people that you can count a potato, but you can really only count a fire truck. He blocked me over that.
Yeah. That's a classic.
We can't really use that anymore. That used to be a meme though, I can count a potato. You remember the memes?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. Do I remember the memes? Oh, come on.
The meme man, the meme wizard.
Speaking of memes, which has nothing to do with this, but I'm going to parlay it anyways.
Yeah, let's do it.
We got some of the Two Town Cider House Cosmic Current. It's a seasonal Thanksgiving-ish cranberry currant cider, and we've already been sipping on it. So I enjoy this. I recommend you all get it. It's delicious. Notes of cranberry and currant.
Alex Whiteley has joined the chat. He is in the UK, unfortunately. I'm sorry, my friend. I don't know if you can get Two Town Cider House over there. If you can, check this out. If you can't, you got to visit America.
What time is it in the UK?
I don't know. He's a night owl. It's probably like 2 a.m.
Time for them to get some freedom. Caca.
The thing I love about that sort of talk, we were talking about this at the dinner table here just a minute ago. Cletus McFarlane, who I'm not going to tell you to go out and check his stuff out because I don't advertise for other people. I only advertise for me. But he has worked up a deal with like a Nitrous Express to do an all-American nitrous bottle. And it's got a vinyl wrap on it or a powder coat, an eagle with the American flag behind it. It's beautiful.
So it's like true American, not like over the top meme American.
No, it's over the top meme American.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like an eagle carrying away a shark that's shooting a laser.
Oh, no, it's not that. I kind of wish it was, but
that's, no. If it was like riding a velociraptor with like a minigun hanging off the side with like a horde of brown bears that are armored, charging, I would probably go pick up that nitrous bottle. Not that I need one, but in case I ever do need one, I would have it handy.
I think that you'd need 2 nitrous bottles.
Oh, make it 2. Yeah.
Yeah. I seem to recall this movie where a guy was going to buy 1 nitrous bottle, but then he decided to make it 2.
And the dude's like, you're going to kill yourself.
Bro, I wish I got a photo of this. There was this Honda Civic in the Walmart parking lot about a week ago, and it was sticker bombed, but all of the stickers were like super antagonistic. It was stuff like, you just got passed by a girl and, slow traffic, keep right. And just like all of the stuff, and then in memory of Paul Walker and all the Fast and the Furious stickers and all that stuff, right? Bone stock, painted flat black, really looking lowered like someone cut the springs out of it on steelies, like 14-inch steelies. And so I'm just looking at these stickers and I'm looking at this car thinking, is this person delusional or are they just potato headed?
Well, maybe it was like an ironic thing. Like you're going to come out and it's going to be a 240-pound dude that's all nerdy, and he's like, yeah, I thought it was funny.
No. But if I saw a car like that, and then I noticed that it had like 255, 45, 14 Mickey Thompson drag radials in the front, then I'd be like, oh, it's a joke. I get it. It's like the Turbo Festiva.
Sleeper status. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Sadly, that's not. When people pile a bunch of money into their car, they generally want people to know. That's part of having a cool car.
Yeah, but I mean, you and I did the whole sleeper thing for quite a while. I would not call the all-wheel drive Protege a cool car.
No, but like the Festiva was kind of a sleeper, except for the fact that there was a massive turbo hanging off the front end that was obvious from, I don't know, quarter mile out or so.
Yeah, this is true.
I suppose if you're deaf and legally blind, but somehow still driving, you could be like, oh, I'll race this Festiva, see how it goes.
And the joke is actually on me in that car because I couldn't race anything in the first 2.5 gears.
Yeah. And nothing was ultimate at freeway poles.
Yeah. I remember losing stoplight to stoplight with a Honda Odyssey minivan.
That's a powerful burn. Get you deep.
Oh, yeah.
That's, I got dumped by a blind chick once. Legally blind, but still. It was a deep burn.
Yeah.
I felt it for quite a while. Like you consider everything about yourself. Like you take a deep look at yourself and realize you can't blame this on she just thought I was ugly. It's like, no, bro, this is for sure your personality. At your core, you suck.
Yeah, but the problem with that is you have somebody that doesn't have dating experience. And so they don't really know what they're looking for. And they're like, I don't know if this guy is a good guy or not. I just know I haven't really been around other dudes. So maybe I should go and try other ones. I pretty much guarantee that whoever she ended up with was lesser of a person than you.
That doesn't change the way it feels in the moment. I'm just going to throw that out there. Just know when you get dumped by somebody who's legally blind, you know it's your personality.
Yeah. I never thought that I would equate, losing from a dig to a Honda Odyssey minivan to getting dumped by a blind chick. But
yeah, it's similar. It's a deep burn where you like stop and you're like, maybe I've started wrong from the beginning here. Like, should I have built a Turbo Festiva? It seems so cool. I just lost to a minivan though. A stock Honda minivan.
It's all of the pops and whizzes and bangs though. The light turns green and I'm trying to feather on that gas as much as I possibly can, but there's no denying, like when the boost comes on, instant, and it's just, we're in boost, and now flames are shooting out the back of the car, like it's just da 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 da, and then I put it in second gear, and there's a moment there where you're thinking, okay, now I have traction, because it's like, and then just And this minivan is just slowly pulling away.
So basically what you're saying is like if you were on a roller coaster and it's that tick, 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 tick up to the top, you know, and then you can feel it stop ticking and it's like catching that slow. And then everybody's screaming and you're shooting down and it feels amazing. Then you realize a sparrow's passing you. Yeah. Like, wait, you hit the bottom, the sparrow's way ahead of you again, then you're tick, 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 like, all right, round 2, sparrow.
Yeah.
Then everybody's screaming, it passes you again.
The only consolation is me like sitting there going, you know what, minivan, let's do this again, but we're going to do it on the freeway.
Yeah.
Do it on the freeway.
Pull over. You're doing like pull over and fight me version, but like pull over and race me somewhere else version.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, bro.
Rather than pull over, it's more like speed up to 60 and then we can start.
Take the exit. Get on the 5.
Exactly.
Come on, loser.
What, are you scared?
Yeah.
You scared?
Race me.
Oh man, if you could get any sleeper car right now, like what do you think would be your favorite sleeper car to have right now?
See, it's weird because all my favorite sleeper cars are no longer sleeper cars, you know? When you say that, first thing that comes to mind is like Grand National. That's kind of the opposite kind of car that people expect me in, but I just think they're the ultimate sleeper car. But anybody that sees a Grand National now, because they were such an ultimate sleeper car, is like, oh no, that's a Grand National. Don't even.
How about a Pontiac G8 GT?
It could be done. Those are so ugly.
Again, we're talking about sleepers.
I know.
It's got an LS. It was available in 6-speed, although the automatic's probably faster. It's basically a 4-door Corvette.
They're just, like, I guess if your sole purpose is a sleeper, but it's just they're that Pontiac plasticky, just ugh, you know?
Yep. Very plasticky.
Yeah, no, they're supercharged Trans Am-ish Pontiac. Like, I know there's some performance, but
do you remember last year when we took the podcast to the Portland International Auto Show and the new Corvettes were there? Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, I want to check this new Corvette out. And we were walking around it and I was kind of poking and prodding. And then we get to the back fascia and I push it with one finger and the tail lights bow in. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a Corvette.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to see that now with the new mid-engine one because it's going to have some reinforcement in the back there.
I know the Corvette, like bang dollar per performance. It has to crush everything, right? I mean,
you were about to say bang for the buck.
Bang for buck.
That's very sexual. So,
no, I'm just saying like dollar per horsepower, per skip pad, per lap time. Like it's got to be near the top.
Ryan Pillsbury says VR4 Galant.
That is near the top for me too. Actually, those are not. I was watching a video about like cars that were faster that are slower than you remember them. And that was like on the list. I remember those being super fast. And then if you go back and look, they're really not that fast, but they can be modified pretty heavily.
Right. And the 3000 GT VR4 is the same way. Those transmissions that came in those are actually super durable. And while the entire car is heavy and all of that good stuff, here's when you know a manufacturer has a really good motor. It's because you have one of their cars that's a fast car and it has a V6 in it, but people are taking the V6 out and mounting the 4-cylinder because the 4-cylinder is capable of 1500 horsepower with a pretty standard list of parts, like not stock, obviously, but you can just kind of, you know, that if you buy this order of parts and you tune it this way, it's going to make this horsepower.
Yeah. Man, if I were to build the ultimate sleeper right now, that's a really tough call. I think I'd go like almost vintage though, like first gen Celica, like the mini Mustang ones. Build the crap out of that and just leave it like primer black with a Punisher emblem on the hood.
Oh, that's so cliche. I love it.
Exactly. Like the people are like, look at this old 69 Mustang. Wait, what is that? Like,
a 7/8 scale Mustang. Yeah. I still love those. The second generation Supras. I don't know why. I kind of have a hard on for those. I have no idea why. I just like the boxy look.
I don't know why either.
The Mitsubishi Starion.
Starion, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. The second gen one. Were there generations? I forget now because you had the square body and then you had the wide body.
I want the wide body one. For sure. That one was really roundy and weird.
Those things, man, they look like a spaceship.
Yeah, they were supposed to. I like how they had all the digital in them back in the day.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last episode with your S2000.
So horrible. I don't know why we've been doing this for 40 years now with the digital stuff. It never looks cool. 3 years, like, why are we still doing this? Haven't we learned our lesson?
At least we're not doing the voices anymore. Door is ajar.
Oh,
door is ajar. Door is ajar. And you're just driving down the freeway. Like, all the doors are closed!
I forgot about that. Wow. Yeah, that was also hideous and horrible and more annoying than almost anything.
And then you get water in the speaker. And so it's like, door is a door. Door is a jar.
Beer is a door.
Hail Satan. Hail Satan.
I would love it if my car did that.
Chrysler, what the hell, man?
Literally. Yeah. Ugh. There's so many crappy cars that you could make fast that still doesn't make them better.
The Dodge Omni GLHS, that's one of those cars where I know people like to make them fast. I know they're kind of easy to make fast.
Wait,
I shouldn't
Dodge
say easy.
Omni or the Colt?
Well, sure, but no, the Dodge Omni, when they were doing a 2.2 liter or 2.5 liter single overhead cam. You remember they made the turbo Dodge vans for a little while?
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I have no idea what motor's in those.
Yeah, it's a 2 point something.
I almost want to say it's a 2.4. Yeah, anyway.
I don't think it's a 2.4. The newer one's a 2.4. But I do remember when the Dodge SRT4 Neon came out with that 2.4.
Chevy Sprint Turbo.
Oh, yeah.
3-cylinder Fury.
Oh,
turbocharged. One of my friends and one of my first girlfriends had one. And they're a pretty cool little car.
Okay, so Jake in the comments just said, when is a door not a door? When it's a jar. Can we reach through the internet and punch him?
You want to know the difference between jelly and jam, Jake?
This is a family-friendly show, Coy. Oh man, that's what happens when you have two people like us who have been friends for our entire lives, when we just know like what the joke means because I've heard it 1,000 times. I'm gonna have to save that door ajar one for Corianne though. She's gonna love it.
She likes those dad jokes.
Oh, she loves them. She loves them.
Yeah.
She catches me off guard once in a while, like the chicken coop one. Why do chicken coops only have 2 doors?
You know,
because if it had 4 doors, it'd be a chicken sedan. Yeah.
You know how mermaids wash their fins? Or what they wash their fins with?
Oh, with Tide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Oh, no, you're not going to be able to. Do you know what Yoda's last name is?
Toy?
Yeah, hee-hoo.
Yeah, no. That's not good.
It hurts, right?
No.
I can't tell if it hurts in my stomach or in my balls. I'm just being real honest.
So, now that we're drinking this Thanksgiving festival, 2 Towns cranberry currant cider, which is delicious.
You already told me all about how you hate turkey.
About your Thanksgiving.
Well, my Thanksgiving was pretty uneventful. As you know, my dad had open heart surgery. And so we ended up not doing any episodes of anything last week. It was all too much. I was staying at the hospital and then we got him home and I was staying there and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But once he got to the point where he could, get himself off of the toilet, we were good.
Good to go. And you went ahead and smoked up a turkey?
I did. Actually, I cooked 4 turkeys. Do
you sell a couple or are you just greedy?
No, I sold 3 and I kept 1.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't even going to do any turkeys. Like the plan was actually to do some turkeys and sell them because it's a nice little way to make a little extra cash, But with all the stuff going on with my dad, I just thought, I probably am not going to try to do a whole bunch of cooking for other people. But then I had a few people that were very persuasive and they said, we are addicted to your meat. And if we can't get your meat in our mouth this Thanksgiving, it's going to be a very bleak Christmas.
Been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I smoked up 4 turkeys instead of doing the brine, which some of you saw on my Facebook, that the brine turkey, while it was still very good and it wasn't burnt, it was very dark. And there were a lot of people that roasted the crap out of me on Facebook. Like I was getting roasted hard. I had one dude, I laughed at this one. It's the only reason why I remember it. He was like, just drill 3 holes in it and use it as a bowling ball. Like, cause it was dark. It was very dark. And I completely understand, when you see something that dark, obviously it's going to be burnt, but this wasn't burnt. It's just all of the sugar in the skin was caramelized and it made it very dark. So instead of doing that, I decided to inject. I made the same brine that Corianne would normally make, and I injected it into the turkey, right? And then over the course of the 4 hours that I smoked it, I just spritzed over the top this same stuff. And it was about 325 degrees, 325 in my big competition smoker for 4 hours. And it brought the breast up to 155, which, I probed everything because obviously I'm giving it to other people, but everything was dead on with the temperatures we wanted it to be on. The dark meat got up to 185. The white meat close to the bone was 155. And so everything was good and they looked fantastic. They really, and honestly, truly, they looked fantastic. I was very happy with how they turned out. And I think I want to do some more of that, like come Christmas time.
Can do another turkey.
Mm-hmm. I have some turkey in there. I think I just have a wing and a drumstick left. I might have you try it.
Well, I'm sure it's good. I had some of the eggs earlier, like a couple. They were pretty good.
Yeah, couple 5 or 6. Yeah.
Does it?
Deviled duck eggs. Are you feeling it now?
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm going to eat more before we get done
I
with the
thought
show.
you might be going into a food coma.
No, it's all protein, bro. Do you even lift?
Wow.
Protein.
Listen, I've been gaining weight hand over fist lately just because when I get stressed, I gain weight.
You're like, I'm going to eat some more protein. It's good for you.
Apparently.
See, I had a friend that would start working out for like 2 or 3 weeks, but he's one of those guys that would buy all the stuff, like go to GNC and just drop $400, and just be like, I'm working out. And he would.
So he bought like 2 or 3 protein
2 bottles
packs,
of protein. Yeah. And he would start powering through this protein. I don't know what kind it was, some powder shake thing. The off-gassing when you eat too much protein it's unscientific, but it is like tarred and feathered dead hobos. It is so horrific. Like, I just be like, I can't hang out with you. Like, you have to warn me and then leave the room, and then I'm going to leave the room, and then we're going to come back at 10 and see if you're done. Like,
yeah,
like clothes ruining, just scraping your tongue. It's in my eyes. So I'm hoping if I eat another dozen or so of these eggs, I can go home and show my children who's boss.
Yeah, just establish dominance.
Yeah, no, they love it. It's like they'll blast off a toot, and then they always expect me to come back. So I have to keep upping my game as they get older.
It's like Jussie Smollett said, you got to go hard. You got to come at them hard.
Tell me about this whiskey you poured me.
Oh, it's the Elijah Craig small batch Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey.
It smells like I'm getting kind of like a sweet honey smell.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a hint of that on top of jet fuel.
Well, because it's 94 proof.
Oh, okay.
Elijah Craig is a great standby for me. I like trying new things. I like trying different things, but at the same time, once in a while, you just got to kind of go with an old standby because you know it's going to be good. And this Elijah Craig small batch, I always know it's going to be good.
It would be so good if I just mixed it with a Coke.
Yeah, you don't do the straight liquor. We've talked about this.
No. That's got some heat to it, and that's actually pretty smooth. I like that. It'd be a lot better chilled. One
of these days, I'm going to get you to the point where you can drink this stuff straight and not be a baby.
Without making a face and being like, I need a chaser. There's so much vanilla and caramel with this. It's room temperature. It's straight. It's 47.5% alcohol. It's pure flavor. And so I want you to be able to appreciate that. I don't know how much whiskey I have to drink to get my tongue past the pure jet fuelness of it. We'll get you there one of these days. But after I get there, don't I have to immediately admit I have a problem? Is it when you get there, you just got to go, wow, I no longer taste alcohol. I taste the flavors in the alcohol. Well, listen, if you want to be part of the 12-step program, you have to complete step 0.
which is approaching the steps, you know?
You have to first you have to have a problem before you can admit to the problem. Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha. So like,
How are you going to admit to it if you don't have it?
You can't admit to a problem you don't have. So
Exactly.
you have to generate a problem. Not going to get a sponsor if you don't have a problem.
Speaking of a problem, I'm going to keep this short and sweet, but I've been aging sugar wash moonshine that a friend of mine made in a little oak barrel, a toasted oak barrel that Corey Ann got me. And I had been tasting it periodically, and it was getting there. It was doing pretty good. It was tasting pretty good, right? I haven't tasted it in probably 2 months. I was telling someone about it yesterday, like I should probably taste that again to see how it is. Corey Ann goes, "What do you mean taste it? It's all gone." And I said, "Huh?
What?"
She was like, "No, it was ready 2 months ago. Like, I've been sipping on it. You haven't had any of it?" And I said, "No." She's like, "Yeah, it's all gone."
That's like when you have a piece of pie in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
You've just taken one bite. I was like, wow, it's amazing. But I'm so full right now. I'm going to put it in the fridge and I will eat this tomorrow. And all day you're at work, you're thinking about, man, that Dutch apple pie, I'm going to heat that up. I'm going to a la mode that thing. I'm going to throw a scoop of ice cream on it. You know, and you're thinking about it. You get home, you're like, whew, I'm going to go take a shower. Then I'm going to get that Dutch apple pie. It's going to be so good. Then you open the door and your wife's like, "Oh, is that your pie?" And you're like, "Whose pie did you think it was?" And then there's just a hole inside you that could never be made right again.
Mm-hmm. I think I can top that one. Imagine it's your wedding day. You've gone through and you've picked out your wedding cake. And then you've done the tradition of taking the...
I'm sorry, I know the story. I can't not laugh, but I'll try to contain myself.
You take the top layer off.
Yeah, you take the topper.
And you stick it in the freezer. You vacuum seal it, and you stick it in the freezer. Then you're supposed to have that a year from now.
Yeah, to just remind you that first year in. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And then when your 1 year anniversary rolls around and you're ready to pull that thing out of the freezer, you find out that your sister has been smooching off your parents for, well, about 40 years. 3 weeks after your wedding, yanked that thing out of the freezer and had a good old time with it. I'd imagine what you're describing is pretty much the same thing.
It's a similar feeling, I imagine. At least you don't have to then sleep beside the person that destroyed your cake. You know what I mean?
That is my one consolation.
You can actually be sad with your wife. Like, you don't get to eat the cake and have the cake with your wife, but you can be sad and upset that somebody else violated your cake and you've been looking forward to it for a year. Whereas mine, the person that's supposed to be there,
I think you can call it a violation. It's at the very least a violation of trust. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not saying this has happened in this way to me, but it's a similar thing.
Sure. For sure.
Even like leftover Chinese food, it can be the same way.
Ooh, leftover Chinese food. Have you ever noticed that Chinese food rice is always undercooked? Like, it's just barely cooked.
I think that's so it clumps together or something.
Maybe so, but I don't like it.
You don't like pork fried rice?
I like pork fried rice. I just don't like the fact that it's still al dente. And so once I've finished my plate, where I'm like, I can just barely finish this plate. It's a lot of food, but I can just finish the plate. And then it all expands like 50% more when it's in my stomach. That's an uncomfortable feeling for me.
You should be expecting that. That's a rookie game, son. Eat your rice first, then power through the meat.
Okay.
Listen, you don't want to bring rice home. If you have leftover General Tso chicken, you can bring that home. But if you have leftover rice, you're probably just going to leave it at the restaurant.
Well, so what's your power ranking when it comes to not the Safeway Chinese food, not the Winco Chinese food, but like an actual Chinese restaurant?
What am I going for? What am I ordering?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a tough one. It's probably going to be Szechuan beef. That's one of my favorites. Sweet and sour pork.
Mm-hmm.
I like pork fried rice, so I'll go with that. And then, what's the noodle? Lo mein. I like lo mein. I'll do any version of lo mein. You gotta be,
I don't really know how it breaks down is the thing. So the lo mein versus the chow mein. Some places the chow mein is the noodle. Some places lo mein is the noodle. Some places chow mein is like this white sauce with the bean sprouts and stuff like that. How do you figure out ahead of time what is going to be on the plate when you order that?
You ask the waitress.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
That's what I do. That's my one problem with Chinese food. Chinese food is some of the best food there is. Like, it's comfort food that often exceeds American comfort food.
Yeah.
But it's not like Starbucks where we go here and we know what Szechuan beef is, and you go order the Szechuan beef over here and it's delicious as well. No, there'll be two entirely different creations. They'll just both be spicy.
Mm-hmm.
You won't have any, you'll be like, this is not Szechuan beef. So that's why I hope there's pictures, and I usually scope around the restaurant, kind of like see what other people have, try and figure out what they got going on. And I mostly just go to one Chinese restaurant now because I know what they have there.
That's
so I don't
fair.
have to be surprised.
Pro tip, the spicier the beef is, the older it is when it went into the pan.
I have zero problems with that.
No, I know you don't. I'm just letting you know.
See, I thought the spicier it was, the less beef is in the Szechuan beef. Like, you're getting some meow meow.
Oh.
Some
yes.
chow meow, some chow meow.
Yeah, some meow mix.
Low meow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I also have no problem with that. If I found out that my Chinese restaurant had served me cat, let's be like, oh, okay. Cat's delicious, I guess. Like, so be it. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way I'm not going to go harvest one of my cats, but if I found out I ate cat and I enjoyed it, I have no guilt.
It's just kind of a game of a zero sum.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, I guess cat's good. In the apocalypse, I won't be afraid to eat a cat. You know, like, I'll just be like, oh, yeah.
You know what drives me nuts about those PETA advertisements, and it has a lineup of all these different animals, and they're like, where do you draw the line between pet and food, right? They put horse before rabbit, and so now I can't draw a clean line.
Yeah, I get that. I think maybe that's a European thing, though.
Oh, that could be.
Like, horse is pretty popular in some places in Europe, so you draw the line right behind the rabbit because horse is included in the food.
Well, that's fair, yeah.
You know, I like the ones where the guys draw the lines. They're just like, today, stock market crash, and then apocalypse, and they just draw 3 lines in it. That's in the order I eat these.
Yeah. Going back to the protein, were you talking about our buddy Chris, by the way?
Oh, obviously.
Okay, yeah. His farts were... I'd call them a thing of beauty, but they weren't. They were opening a dimension to hell.
Yeah, no, they were, like I said, a tarred and feathered hobo that was, like, had a chemical fire on top of him. Unknown chemical fire, but hazardous. Weird colors in the smoke, you know.
So he smelled like downtown Los Angeles.
Fresno. Downtown
Oh,
Fresno.
okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. No, I get you. I think that's all the more reason to have a smoker around that you use consistently, Coy. I'm just going to throw that out there. I know it's not the best segue in the world, but I feel like we need to move on.
Speaking of smokers, you got yourself a couple new smokers. I
did. Long story short, while you pop that beer open and pour me a little bit, my friend. What is that, by the way?
We got ourselves the Ninkasi Slayer. And just so you know, that's sleigh as in Santa's sleigh. Slayer. Seasonal release, winter ale. Says it has deep chocolatey malt flavor with a lasting bitterness. So it's chocolatey with a ton of hops. Hops, I'm guessing. Like a toasty fire on a dark night. I'm going to be honest. Ninkasi's pretty popular in this part. In general, I don't care for them. They hopify everything.
Yeah, way too much hops.
But
they didn't get the memo that hops are no longer in season.
It's popular around here, and as a seasonal release, I'll give it a try.
Jeepers creepers, you're pouring that beer like Hillary Clinton. I got an inch of beer and 6 inches of foam. Nice. Oh, and you pour your own the right way. Great, thanks. Appreciate that. Look at you being all fancy. No, it's fine.
No. Quick, hurry. No. It's going to land on you.
No, it's fine.
It's going to foam on you. I slipped.
It's fine. Keep your own beer. That's fine.
How you like them apples? You want to talk crap? I'll just dump the rest of it in yours. There. Have some foam. Don't drop it. Jeez. Enjoy your foam. Hope you like foam.
Coy's superpower is being able to foam up any beer.
Anyways.
What's that?
Go.
You're robbing a bank? Have some foam. You're a very rude person. Have some foam.
You're rude. Have some foam. That's actually pretty good.
Don't mind it?
It's pretty Ninkasi tradition. It's hoppy as all get out, but I like it.
Now I regret
pretty malty, chocolatey.
Now I regret being live, by the way, because I'm about to get like a beer foam mustache. I guess we're just going to go for it.
Go for it. After you got done, it looked like you were just like ate a fish hole and the tail was sticking out of your mouth. That's what your beer foam mustache looked like.
You know what? That's not bad.
No, it's good beer.
Mm-hmm. Does it have the IBU and ABV on it?
I have no idea if it does or not. It is 7.2% alcohol and 60 IBU.
Okay, yeah.
I have no problems with that beer. That's a good beer. I actually may buy a couple more of those. It's pretty good.
I'm seeing myself in the delayed live stream. And yeah, I had foam all over myself, so thanks for that.
You're welcome. Enjoy your foam. Anyways, tell us more about your smokers.
Well, so it's kind of good news, bad news. We had a place here in Oregon called Nectar Creek. They're a meadery. I liked their stuff. They didn't go out in wide distribution, so I didn't get their stuff very often. But whenever I saw it, I was like, hey, that's a new flavor. I'm going to try that, right? They unfortunately went under this past year and kind of had a fire sale of all their equipment. And their equipment went to a friend of mine, and it is going to go to use. And I'm glad that he was able to get it. But he also got these 2 Yoder smokers. Didn't really know what to do with the smokers. He enjoys barbecue. You know, he gets barbecue from me for his food truck. But he was just like, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I don't really have a use for them. I don't have space for them. So why don't we just do a little cash exchange, and then you can take them and go on your way and do whatever you want. And he made it worth my while to buy these 2 Yoder smokers. Now, I'll be honest. I looked at these things and they were rough. I mean, they're not pretty. Okay. But then the more I started looking into Yoder as a company, the more I started realizing that everything aesthetics wise, Yoder did in a way that it can be changed up. Okay. They don't powder coat their smokers. They paint their smokers with a high temp flat black paint. And the reason why they do this is because if you do ruin that powder coating in some way, you scratch it or you stain it or whatever, you can never really cover that up. Right. But if you're just using a high temp flat black paint, you can just scrape it or wire brush it or whatever and then repaint it. And so I kind of dig that. I was like, oh, wow, that's a really good idea. I appreciate them doing that, you know? So that's a good thing because these things are dirty. Nectar Creek used them pretty much all day, every day, the entire time that they were open. It was what they cooked all of their proteins on. Everything went into these Yoder smokers. And so I can understand why they bought Yoders. Yoders are one of the best. They're tanks. They're an industrial quality.
I had no experience with Yoders, and then I messed with yours a little bit here. When you look online, you just see a black smoker. You assume it's just another Traeger or whatever, insert brand name here, with just basically a sheet metal outside. These things are like 1/4-inch plate. I could not believe how heavy duty that thing is made. Like, it is not for transporting. No,
and heavy to the heavy because they're 335 pounds a piece.
Yeah, it doesn't look heavy, dude. It looks just like all the others, and then you open the lid and you're just like, oh my goodness, this lid is beef.
Yeah, yeah. So they both work. I'm a little bit shocked. I was expecting to need to buy, a thermocouple for the thermostat. I was expecting to need to buy a new igniter, maybe replace a fan, that sort of thing. Got them home, plugged them in. They fired right up. We've used one of them to cook a couple of times. I cooked some chicken wings on it the other day. I smoked up some breakfast sausage on it. I got to be honest, it might have sold me on pellet. I mean, the plan was to take these Yoders, clean them up, and then resell them. You know that it's kind of a hobby of mine to fix barbecues and redistribute them through people that I know, right? Mm-hmm. Something that I've been doing for a while.
Yeah.
I don't take a lot of photos of it because it's just kind of a me hobby. But I don't know, man. One of these might be finding its way into my stable.
You should have at least one pellet smoker.
I don't know quite how I feel about pellets. I will say I'm not a huge fan of pellet over like the direct fire. I don't think anybody is. But for a convenience factor, it's just ridiculous. You go out there, you flip the switch on, you set your temperature, you walk away for 10 minutes. And then when you come back, it's up to temp and you throw your stuff on.
And you walk away for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I have it, I kind of understand it. Even my dad's Traeger, though, he has I think it's called a Big Tex.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It doesn't hold the heat consistently like this thing does. It doesn't work quite as consistently. There are more temperature variations. The wind blown across it, will cool it down. And now it's trying to work on coming back up to temp and all of the stuff that you normally see out of like an 18 gauge stamped smoker. But this thing is so heavy, it holds all of that heat. I couldn't believe being able to open the lid, throw my chicken wings on, season them, okay, because I didn't pre-season these chicken wings, close it back down, it's lost 10 degrees.
Yeah.
That's pretty stunning.
It is, but now that I've looked at how seriously heavy duty they're made, I'm not surprised.
Where does that put you on pellet smokers? I know you started looking at them. We actually talked about the Louisiana brand grills.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of holding out to the spring. I'm stuck between whether I get a cabinet pellet smoker or just get a traditional grill pellet smoker grill. So I don't, because I've got that Blackstone griddle. Sorry, griddle. That's the word I was looking for.
As you guys can see in any of our videos that we did for the Pumpkin Spice Day, and that griddle is awesome. I love that thing. You did right getting that.
And it's kind of, I feel weird saying this. I kind of don't have the need for a grill so much now that I have that. It's changed my grilling game massively. I really, really like it. Wish I would have gotten a griddle sooner. I think half the reason I haven't got a griddle sooner is all the good griddles you see are just like griddle, propane burner, 4 legs. They don't look like a traditional barbecue with some drawers and a slide and a spot to hide the propane bottle. The one I have has that. It's got drawers and all it looks like a regular grill, but then has a griddle top.
Mm-hmm.
And the only downside is cleanup. With a regular grill, you throw your steaks or burgers on or whatever. You get them done. You throw them on a plate. You either close it and turn it off, or some guys, depending on how bad it is, you'll spike the heat for a few minutes. You'll turn it on high and kind of burn it off, and you're done. Whereas with a griddle, you got to scrape it clean. You throw a little rag on there and kind of give it a quick scrub while it's hot, and then spray a rag and wipe it down. You got to get it clean every time. So that part kind of sucks, but the ability to straight up cook 10 hamburger patties, saute onions, cook the bacon, toast buns, and then the melting cheese on a griddle if you have I don't know what they're called, but it's kind of like a big pot lid.
Oh, yeah.
There's a name for those. Escapes me at the moment.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Just think that big lid when the guy comes out with, a turkey in a fancy restaurant and he takes that big stainless lid. You get one of those. You got your burgers down there. You throw a few ice cubes on it, put your cheese on it, throw a couple ice cubes down on the grill and drop that over everything. As those ice cubes steam, it melts the cheese. I mean, you can have a fistful of shredded cheese on there. It turns it into an ooey gooey pile, unlike anything else that you cannot do it on a grill that way. And then the cheese doesn't escape. It doesn't get down and drop to the bottom of your grill. You take your spatula, you shovel that whole soaking cheesy mess up, you press some bacon down into it, drop the onions on there, and just slide it right off onto a bun. I mean, what you can do burger-wise on that thing is hands down way better than a grill.
And so what was your seasoning process to get that thing as non-stick as it is?
Oh, you just spread, I used canola. It was actually Lodge seasoning oil that I used. Spray it on there, wipe it down, and I mean, you cover everything, the edges, the outside edges, just every place you can see on it, and just crank the heat. And it starts turning black. You spray it again, and just when the whole thing's black, you're done. And since, and as long as you, every single time you use it, clean it properly and oil it, it's wonderful. If you don't clean it properly, that's when you start losing your seasoning and it's nonstick, or if you let water sit on it, obviously it'll rust.
Right. It's funny, I bought you a couple of spatulas for that thing because I knew you were going to get it, and I saw some Blackstone accessories on clearance. I didn't get you the cleaning kit because the cleaning kit was still expensive. Oh, Stephen Powell just joined. Get it on, brother. Ugly Drum Smokers, Texas. Which, when we were in Texas for the World Food Championships, I wish I would have been able to, swing by his place and check his setup up. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I got you a couple of these spatulas.
I have a couple questions on those that let's get back to, though.
Okay. That burger spatula that I got you, though, it has a really sharp edge. It's thick and rigid. And the last time I was over at your house, it seemed like you were using that for pretty much everything.
I use nothing but that now.
Really?
the only spatula I use.
And it's wide, right?
It's that's the thing is it's really, it looks like a mini, if you've ever seen like a pizza.
A peel, yeah.
Yeah, one of those big, it's like a mini version of that. Just this big fat spatula. Flip it over, scrape the grill down with it, scoop up. I have this weird thing I like to make, like 3-pound burgers. like literally I will buy like the French artisan bread and
not
make
3 1-pound burgers,
no.
but a single 3-pound burger.
Like a single patty that weighs 3 pounds. Like massive burgers. I don't know why it's dumb, but I think it's hilarious. And then I'm always like, oh, hey kids, you want a hamburger? Ta-da! Their head explodes. So like I'm at the point where like I'm trying to decide, like I'm using like those soup bowl breads and stuff. They're not big enough. So I actually bought I think it's called French artisan bread. Mm-hmm. And it's this kind of blob shaped massive chunk of bread. But I kind of have to set it beside the patty I'm forming to get the right blob shape going on.
Right.
And then that thing, and then I actually have to use another spatula. It's just the only way to manhandle that. all that ground beef.
Bro, we've been talking about this. We want to make our own McRib, but with actual short ribs. It sounds like that artisanal blob that you're talking about might be the perfect bread for that.
Like you just want to put a half or a whole rack of ribs.
Yeah, straight up I keep going back and forth whether or not I want to use a St. Louis or a baby back. I'm kind of thinking a baby back, and then you cook it to slightly over what people would normally want. So you can right, get those bones straight out.
You know, I feel like you go baby back and just straight use French bread.
You think so?
Yeah, because you just lay the whole thing in there.
I mean, I think that's fair. Yeah.
I say we do both, and then we judge.
We're definitely going to do that for Don't Dog the Nog 2019.
I have a new Don't Talk the Nog saying.
Uh-oh, let's hear it.
So, sorry, I got to try to say this straight face.
You're already messing it up, man.
So
first the foamy beer, now this.
Once you've had like homemade eggnog with raw eggs, mm-hmm. It's raw nog or naw dog.
You're raw nogging it.
Yeah. I'm raw nogging it, bro. I'm gonna raw nog the daylights out of it. Raw nog or naw dog.
Raw nog is the only way to go. Well, we talked about this before. The funny thing about eggnog is that the alcohol content, once it gets over something like 6 or 7%, within 3 weeks, even if you do have eggs with E. coli, which is rare but can happen, and that's the whole risk that you run, even if they do have E. coli, within 3 weeks it's dead. And there have been studies over and over and over determining this. And I find that very kind of fascinating about eggnog. You know, making your own homemade eggnog is really not that big of a deal as long as you're adding enough alcohol to it to sterilize it over that period. And the longer it sits, by the way, the less alcohol taste you're going to have, which I know you like.
Raw nog, bro. Raw
nog
or nog?
Raw nogging it.
Yeah. Anyways, the little drum smokers. I was thinking about putting a wood stove in it, and then I thought, what would be way cooler is put a smoker in here with just like the wood stove stack.
And I'm sorry, Stephen Powell, you don't drink, so you can't talk about adding more alcohol.
So could I actually just hook that to like a typical thin wall metal chimney stack and just run it out the ceiling of my shop?
Oh, I don't see why not.
And then just boom.
It's all a matter of velocity. You know, you have to have enough heat to go all the way out that exhaust, right? Otherwise you start stagnating, going up. Randy White's joining the chat. How are you doing, man? So you can't have so little airflow that the heat's not making it all the way out that now incredibly tall chimney, right?
Well, I can always 45 it out the side or 90 it over and up, too. Shorten it up.
You might do that. You're going to lose some heat doing that, of course, because, part of what gives you that heat is that pipe, right? So, I mean, it's a little bit of a catch-22 going on.
Well, no,
there.
I'm not looking for it to heat the shop at this point.
Oh, okay. You're just looking to smoke meat in it.
Yeah, in the dry, like I can just be in there projecting and just be like, oh yeah, in 2 hours I'm going to have something delicious.
Well, so what happens when you open the door to either load it or, flip it or whatever?
Well, I mean, heat will come out.
The smoke will come out.
Can't I just open the stack? I mean, just like typical wood stove, open the stack, open the door so it's flowing while you're opening the door.
Yes, but you now have a bigger opening in the smoker than than what's going out the stack. So I think you're going to end up releasing a lot of smoke into your shop, which, listen, if it's
got bay doors, like it's not the end of the world.
Right. And if it's delicious smelling smoke, what's the problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I got insulated ceiling. It'll go right up there, catch all up in that loose insulation, hopefully kill some rodents.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll have a nice smell of smoked meats permeating my shop.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to bring people over and you're going to be like, let's head out to the shop, check this out. And they're just going to walk in and go, oh, what is that delicious smell?
Yeah, like I'll hook up to my tent trailer, take it out. I'll be camping in the mountains. Some people are like, wow, I smell some like hickory, get a little smoky going on. Probably have bears roaming up on me and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Are you smoking some St. Louis ribs? No, but I was. No, I can dig it. I like that. I have a wood stove in my shop.
Yeah.
But I don't have any insulation, and there's holes all over the place, and so the heat doesn't stay very well. But I thought about the same thing. I was like, there's enough holes in here to where if it gets a little smoky, it'll just blow out.
I kind of just sealed all the holes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of small problems in your life that you don't really think about till you actually go to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not sure what the person before me in this, it was a kind of a gravel barn. I had it concreted, and I'm insulating it and making it my shop, and it's all tin. And I'm not sure if they're like throwing javelins inside the shop, but they just punched 4 or 5 1.5 to 2 inch holes straight through the tin. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just patch that and then I'll insulate it. And then I got up to it and I was like, how do you patch tin again? I ended up just riveting tin to the outside and like getting some Gorilla Glue or Gorilla silicone, and hopefully it works. I don't know. There's some problems, though, that you just see it and you're like, oh, yeah, easy fix. And then you got to fix it and you're like, I have literally no idea how I'm supposed to fix this.
Yeah, right.
Just like pause.
Yeah. We're building that goat house in the backyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had a similar situation. We're using almost all secondhand stuff. And the metal roofing has holes in it from the previous owner. And obviously they're not going to line up in the same way as what we were doing because they had rafters running in opposite directions and stuff like that. So I ran out and I got some spray bed liner, and I have been spraying that over the holes to fill the holes in, and we'll see how that works.
I feel like that should work.
I mean, that was my original thought, is this is probably going to be okay.
I would think so. Especially if you just sprayed the whole sheet of tin with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Plus it's going to make it a lot quieter in there.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I'm trying to make it as comfortable and cozy and dry as I possibly can. Yes, for the goats, but also because the wetter it is, the more often I'm going to have to clean it out.
Well, that, and why piss off a demonic animal?
Very true.
If it's not happy, it's liable to go stand on top of your house or something.
If it gets too pissy, it'll just find its way into my smoker.
Yeah.
Goat's actually kind of an up-and-coming protein. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I have no problems eating goat. It's delicious.
No, I mean, all over the world, goat is a pretty popular protein to have. But when we were staying in Texas, going back around to that, I found out that a lot of the farms around where we were staying in San Angelo were, in fact, goat farms, like for meat.
So did I tell you about my first goat experience?
No, you didn't.
Goat? I was doing this job. I'm working on this road, and I'm parking some construction equipment in this parking lot. What looks like an abandoned, like Mexican restaurant. I don't know if you want to say Mexican restaurant, but kind of that burrito Mexican restaurant where you can tell they just sell like burritos and kind of real authentic Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
Around here, they're called like Alberto's or Muchos, but I'm sure they're different chains around. And in this one, I don't remember the name, but their emblem was a goat on the sign, and it looked abandoned. Like it looked like the building, like the county came out and said, this has to be torn down type building.
Mm-hmm.
And then the open sign came on later that day. And I was like, well, I'm never eating there because that is scary. And then one of our flaggers came out munching on what might have been the biggest burrito I've ever seen in my life. I was like, wow, that's a healthy looking burrito. That's a pretty good size. And then the flagger came back the next day and wasn't dead or anything. I'm like, this burrito's pretty good. And they're like, oh, it's the best burrito there is. This place has the best. They serve these goat burritos. They're the best. It's the only place you can get goat. I was like, really? And I'm like, and no food poisoning. They're like, no. So I reached down, grabbed a hold of myself, said, Coy, you're going in, you're going to have a goat burrito from this cockroach looking place.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed my life. It was delicious. And it's the best burrito I've ever had. and I frequent that place now when I need an amazing burrito that's literally too big to eat in one helping.
Have you ever been in their bathroom?
I went to use their bathroom, and it was out of order. See,
okay.
They skipped ahead of that problem. So I immediately saw what they did there.
See, I have this personal rule. Anytime the bathroom is bad in a restaurant, I know the food's going to be bad. Okay. And so the same, exactly what you're talking about, where it's a Muchos or an Alberto's or a Rigoberto's or a Rivas, or they're all kind of the same style place, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they have a clean bathroom, I know the food's going to be good. If they have a dirty bathroom, I know the food's going to be bad. I was in Salem, but again, I was at the Salem hospital, but I just had to get out of there for a little while and drive around. I went to one of those Mexican places, and I ordered myself the standard, the standby, the one that I know is always going to be, the tacos al pastor, or pastor tacos, however you want to say it. It's an adobada pork. It has a specific adobo sauce seasoning on it, right? It's hard to go wrong with that, okay? So I stop at this place. It's roachy looking, but almost all of these places are roachy looking. Mm-hmm. So I go in, I order my 3 tacos al pastor, and I say, can I use your bathroom, please? Because I legitimately had to use the restroom. I go in, their bathroom is destroyed. It is the dirtiest, most disgusting bathroom I've ever seen in my life. And that rule pops back up in my head where I'm just like, you don't eat at places that look like this. It's a rule that I have. I need to stick to that rule. I didn't stick to that rule. I had a lot of other stuff going on mentally. I was just like, I'm not up for trying to now get a refund on my tacos or whatever, like trying to explain to this woman that really doesn't speak much in the way English. My Spanish is not good. Hey, your gross, nasty bathroom has turned me off and I need my money back. Like, obviously that's not going to happen. Guess what, Coy? Got my food. It was terrible. It was awful.
It was awful. It
was the worst tacos al pastor I've ever had in my life.
How I knew this place was going to be good, that sealed me over and was like, okay, even though this place is like straight up scary and looks like the building should be condemned, I know it's going to be good. Like, I'm standing there and you could see the grill. You could see him going at it. And the lady working the grill looks at me and is like, do you want avocado on your burrito? I was like, yeah. And she reached down, picked up a whole avocado, cut it in half, and put half of an avocado on my burrito. Like, she just takes a spoon, cleans out half an avocado, puts it on there, and I was like, no way. She just put half. Yes. And it just like, she won me over right there.
That was it. That was the defining moment for you, huh?
Yeah. No, if you're willing to put half an avocado on an $8 burrito, that's like half your profit. And done. I'm in.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I remember a place that I went to in Corvallis. That one's called Rivas as well. And I wasn't real sure how it was going to be because, again, exactly the same setup as any of these Mexican restaurants. Looks exactly the same. The menu's the same. The Oregon burrito. Like, that's their whole
weird
thing, right?
Yellow table, Formica everywhere.
Exactly. Their bathrooms, you can't access them from inside. You have to go around, and they're locked, right? I get the key. I unlock it. I enter into this foyer with a little table stand that has fresh flowers on it, and it smells good. And I'm just like, holy crap, the food's going to be really good here.
First thing I'd be like, wait, am I in the men's restroom? I'd be like, leaning out the door.
No, this was like the foyer leading to the men and women's restroom.
Oh.
Yeah. The men's restroom, very clean, freshly painted. I don't know if they have problems with graffiti in a college town. Maybe so, maybe not. But like, it was very fresh, very clean. I was very impressed with their bathroom, and their tacos al pastor are to die for. They're so good. And I knew they were going to be good because that bathroom was so fresh and so clean.
See, I have a different rule when it comes to my like Roach Coach or burrito wagons or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. The sketchier the sketchier the location it's parked, the better it's going to be.
That's trucks, though. It's different.
Because, if they're surviving, like they're making money and they're in a weird spot, they're really good.
Yeah, because they haven't been robbed. Nobody wants someone else to rob them, because if they get robbed, they won't come back to that neighborhood.
There's one on the way to Eugene. You take this exit. You pull off into the worst little Pacific Pride. Just commercial gas station, self-pump, and over on the side, way away, is this burrito wagon. And they are amazing.
Could you ever see yourself owning a food truck? Honestly.
I see myself owning on the spot where I park like 10 food trucks that other people pay me to park there.
Okay, that's fair.
That's more where I'm at.
That's fair. But like, honestly, truly, could you see yourself if your life completely turned upside down right now? You lost your penis in a freak welding accident. Okay?
Wow. Kind of wildly specific, but remind me not to use a welder around you.
I'm just saying, I don't know why, but something happens. Okay?
Yeah.
And now you're only...
Can we pick another? Can it just be like I lose a hand, an eye?
Both of your pinky toes are blown off, shot out of your shoes like bullets.
Okay.
And now you can't work construction anymore.
Strangely way better. Why? Yeah, no, I could totally see myself doing that.
I mean, you would expect the steel toe of your boot to stop it, but instead it just blasted straight through it. It looked like an anti-tank round going through AR-500 body armor plating. It was just boom, right through.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah. No, all of the skin stayed, but the bones straight through.
You're painting a vivid picture that sounds wildly painful. No, I could run
the smallest hole, and you're just like, why is that hole so small? It's because that bone was shaving down as it was shooting through the plating.
I have two things with the food trucks.
Yeah.
One, driving the food truck to wherever I'm going to park it. That would be the most fun thing. I'd just be like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Like, I would have so many different horns that I'd be blasting on that thing. I'd have like one of those J.C. Whitney 42 different sound horn setups, you know, from like barking and cats meowing and all the crazy sounds, UFO ray guns. And then number two, if I had my own food truck, do you know how hard it would be? You're over a hot grill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, you're making burgers or Thai food or whatever. How are you not drinking on the job? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cracking a cold one many times. Like, I shouldn't drive the food truck home.
Yeah, but you're not cracking a cold one until you're done cooking, right?
No, I'm cracking a cold one at night. Like, whenever it parks and the grill's hot and I lean over it and somebody walks up, it's like, hey, I'm going to have the chicken rancheros or whatever, whatever I'm selling there. The fruit.
I don't think rancheros are a thing, but
no,
they could be for yours. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you roll up and they're like, yeah, we'll have the Thanksgiving Fruit Loops. And I'm just like, I'm on it and I'm cooking away. And I'm just like, whew, what do we got in the cooler here? Hey, buddy, reach down there into the ice, the little tray down there. Hand me up one of those cold ones,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could sell booze from a truck. That's a good question.
Oh, I'm certain you can't, but I'd try till they stop me.
Here's how we know you can't. Because if you could, there'd be whiskey trucks driving around playing ice cream themes, and we'd all be running over our houses like, the whiskey truck is coming, the whiskey truck is coming. Mommy, can I have $1?
See, if it was whiskey, they would definitely just be playing that like 80s song Ice Cream Man.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like less PG ice cream truck sounds.
It wouldn't be Stroke.
Yeah, it'd be like, yeah, stuff like that. 23 flavors guaranteed satisfy.
All right, we gotta try something here.
And the problem with a whiskey truck, if you're selling whiskey and that's a really chatty, you're not going to sell a lot of whiskey because somebody's just stop, be like, oh, let me try. Oh, that one's got kind of a peat mott. Oh, let me try this one. And pretty soon you're trying to sell whiskey, but you spent 18 minutes talking with a guy who spent $4 on a shot of whiskey. And then now you got to keep driving around the neighborhood trying to sell your whiskey.
Just make it cheap though. Like, imagine if you only doubled your money. You weren't like getting way, way over the top money for your whiskey. What you got to do
is your shot glass, you have to make it hard to open. Yeah. So you're just like, here you go. And the dude's like struggling with it and you get in and drive.
We're going to do a little role playing here. So imagine that you're in your whiskey truck. All right.
Yeah. I'm driving my whiskey truck.
You're driving your whiskey truck?
Yeah. I'm tootling along my little whiskey truck. I'm the whiskey man. Yeah. I'm driving along. I'm cranking some Billy Squire right now. As I'm driving, I'm kind of doing the movements. I'm shooting my pistols at people.
And this is playing through the PA. This is the loudspeaker music. You're coming through the neighborhood.
Yeah, every chick I see, I wink and like throw her, give me some sugar, baby.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when people hear this and they're like, oh, here comes Coy with his whiskey truck. Right?
Yeah.
And so imagine you're just driving along. I'm
swerving back and forth.
Yeah.
Like I'm bumping each curb, just whipping it back and forth.
You just pulled up to my neighborhood, okay? I'll come running out of the house. You see me. So what's your
money
greeting?
in the air.
What's your greeting?
What's my greeting?
Uh-huh.
Ooh, I wasn't expecting this. I'm guessing you have one chambered, though.
No, I want to hear what yours is. I feel
like this is a loaded question that you have.
You can just say, like, what'll you have, son? And then, of course, I need to say something like, well, what do you got? And you've got your board on the side, right, with all of the different ice cream flavors, okay? But it's all just whiskeys.
See, I feel like I'm going just like ice cream man, kids up. Hey, kids, want some ice cream? You know? You come running up, holding your money in the air. I'm just like, hey, man, want some whiskey?
Which, of course, I do, right?
Yeah, it's obvious you do, but still, you got to do the thing like you're doing something that's shady, like, hey, man, you want to buy a watch?
Mister, can I get 2 whiskeys? One of them's for my friend in the house.
Well, certainly, son.
Mom! He said I can get 2!
Well, aren't you a swell little feller? You want a sticker? Yeah.
And that's what we're all chanting, by the way, as you're driving by. We're just like, stroke! Stroke! All right, enough of that. He's starting to pantomime. We're not going to do that. But that would be your theme song to your whiskey ice cream truck.
Yeah, that would work. I mean, I'd have it rotate through a couple songs, but I think you got the right genre and theme.
Stephen Powell saying the tequila song. Like,
oh.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
I might do like Lime in the Coconut.
Oh, yeah. I have our friend Dana cover Pina Colada.
Oh, that's what we do. We put I can just be singing it while I drive.
Yeah,
I'm watching the little ball and I'm swerving everywhere and I got the mic out there.
That way there's no copyright infringement.
Yeah. If you like Pina Colada, caught in the rain. You're not into yoga. If you want to get maimed. How it goes. But
however it goes. It doesn't matter. That's why it's a parody, right?
Yeah, no, I can ad-lib it like that.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm just kind of envisioning, like, if we could have a barbecue truck that could drive around and then also sold whiskey or even beer. Beer's fine.
Let's pull doubles. Like, let's have the whiskey truck pulling a barbecue trailer and you're on there like a fireman on the back of the fire truck, like harnessed in, just smoke rolling.
Ooh, Mad Max style.
You got the big tower you're hanging off of.
Yes, dude.
All strapped in.
You remember in Fury Road, they had the guitar player for whatever reason. He's in the mask and he's all strapped in and he's playing the super fast guitar music. You got me all strapped in, dude. But there I am. I'm flipping burgers. I'm checking my ribs. And
while we're driving, you play the guitar while I sing?
I mean, I could play the kazoo.
You're going to have to learn to play the guitar, for sure.
You about said kazoo.
Yeah,
now I'm imagining a guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Could be a cool new instrument that you invent that we all make fun of on Facebook.
I could totally be like Billy Joel, where I have the harmonica strap, but it's got a kazoo. So I'm just like...
A kazoo.
Throw us a rib, you're the barbecue man.
We're taking this too far.
It's going too far, huh?
Yeah, no, it's too deep.
All right, well, is it time to wrap up then?
I think it's getting that time.
Coy, thank you for joining, my friend. This is the first time that we've live streamed this on Facebook. Few technical difficulties, but if you're listening to the podcast, then you didn't have to worry about hearing any of it. So there you go. One more time, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank you for telling a friend. That really is the only way that we can keep this thing afloat. You know that, Coy?
Yeah.
It's all word of mouth. It's all people letting their friends know that we're doing this thing.
Yeah,
and if they
you
like
guys hadn't told a friend to listen to the show, we wouldn't be pulling down that $45K a month on this show.
No, not at all.
No, not even close.
We wouldn't be able to convert the $0 that we make from doing the show into more $0.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to thank everyone for checking out the live stream. Hopefully we get to do this again next week. It's going to keep getting a little bit more refined. We're figuring this out, you know? Yeah. So for Coy, this is Andy. And until next time, keep it shiny side up.
Yeah, there you go.